chance to see you all. This is kind of an uplifting thing when we can actually see you and be part of what you're doing for an hour. Let's have a word of prayer to begin, and then I'll introduce our guest speakers. Seth, would you stand where you are and just offer a word of prayer?
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're grateful for this day and for all the many blessings. We're grateful that we're able to come here for Mutual and listen to these men from the Red Barn Academy. We're grateful for them and that they're able to come out here today. Please bless them. We'll have a good rest of the day and this week, and we're grateful for the chance that we have to be here and take something from this message, and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen.
By way of introduction, why don't you pull that right over here, and then you won't have to, you're going to fall out of the chair. I would like to introduce Nicholas, Tyler, and Richard. They are our friends and they're students at the Red Barn. All of you have driven by I-15 down by McDonald's and seen these red buildings. And some of you may know what happens there, and some of you may not know what happens there. But that's where, at this point, just men are refining their lives and starting over and creating a skill set and an awareness of how to make great things happen in their lives. And these three men are deeply involved in that process. And so I'll turn the time over to you, and then at the very end, the bishop will make a couple of comments and we'll finish up. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Great to have you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nicholas Anderson, and I'm from Davis County. I grew up in Clearfield and went to Clearfield High, graduated in 1999. My story kind of starts, I look around at you guys, and I was thinking about things I could say tonight, and I see you guys, and I see myself in you when I was your age. So many opportunities that you have in your life to make good choices, and it's all about choices. Everything that you do in your life is choice. But what you might not realize is there's some accountability behind that. There's some consequences behind it. Every good choice, there's a consequence. You get a good feeling, when you do something good for somebody. When you do something bad, some bad feelings may come up. But it can even get deeper than that. I had a mom and dad who loved me and raised me right. I went on a mission to Singapore back in 2002 to 2004. I got married, and then I what I talked about, I made some choices that led me down a path that I can never ever go back on. It starts with small things, you guys. It starts with very small things that you may think insignificant. Maybe a bad movie, or maybe something that you hear on the radio that's not so good. But you have the opportunity, and I speak to you like this because the opportunity is to be able to make that right choice, make the choice that I didn't make, because I'm grateful for where I'm at and the things that I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to be able to change, and the Red Barn has given me that. But I'm 39 years old, and I'm in a life skills academy. I stay at the Red Barn. It's a 2-year minimum program. I wouldn't be there had it not been for Mike and Rich Hawes, and I'm grateful to be there. But as I reflect on my life, I think I wish that I would have made different decisions in my life. Because making bad choices, it begins to go, fast, like a snowball effect. When you make one wrong choice, it's easier to make the next wrong choice and the next wrong choice. And you may think that it's insignificant and it doesn't matter, but it does. Sometimes making the right choice is you're standing alone making that choice. And that's what I challenge you to do. I challenge you to search within your heart, no matter what, to make a good choice, and to not go down the same path that I went down. And if I can impose any wisdom on you, that's what I would say. But the Red Barn Academy is for men. It's an alternative to jail or prison. Society's kind of had it with me. I'm a felon. I have, I got to the point where my mom and dad didn't want me around anymore. I have a 6-year-old son, and my mom and dad are raising him, and I'm very thankful that he's loved and he has the things that he needs, but I'm not able to be there for him because of my choices. And your choices, if you make wrong choices long enough, it will separate you from the things that you love. I promise you that. And so just, if I can be that example to anybody, just think, man, I don't want to be 40 years old and have to start all over. Do it right now where you can do it, and it will be easier. I am striving to make the right choices in my life because of these guys. They help me every day, and I'm able to turn around my life because of the Red Barn, and because I have a supporting community like you folks who support us and help us, and because after all, that's what it's all about. And if you're thinking in your head, anybody, about making wrong choices, or if you're going through something, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask somebody. Say, you know what, I'm not doing so good right now. And when you see a friend who's struggling, talk to them. Be a friend, and be a true friend, and just try and do everything that you can, but don't let that drive you down to make bad choices with that person. Be that example, but also know when to draw that line and say, you know what, I got to back off. I don't, like I said, I'm really grateful for the Red Barn and everything that it has to offer. I've been a student in the program for 14 months, and it's a big deal for me to, there was a time in my life where I didn't think that change was possible. I didn't think that was going to happen for me. There was a time I was sitting in front of a judge, and he says, you know what, you're going to go to prison. That's it. I had it with you. I've seen you too many times. I've been booked into Davis County Jail for, over 24 times. And you know what? I had no one to call. I would call and I would get my free call. My mom would tell me, don't call, because they didn't know what to do anymore. And, I wrote a letter to the Red Barn while I was in jail, and my cause come to interview me, and he asked me if I love my family. I says, well, of course I love my family. He says, you're a liar. If you loved your family, you would have been there for them. He says, and that really kind of stung. It's hard to hear the truth, but that was the truth. And I got to the point where I was like, no more. I don't want to go there anymore. I don't want to end up losing my life. I don't want to end up losing my mind or getting a life sentence in prison, because ultimately that's where it ends, you guys. If you guys use drugs and alcohol long enough, you will lose your life. It will be over, whether it's through a life sentence or in prison, and that revolving door, being in the system and going in front of the judge time and time again. You don't want to go down that path. I promise you. When your family doesn't show up to your court date because they've been to so many of them, you know, the only person that was there in that crowd is I saw Mike. He says, we'll take him, and we'll take responsibility of him. But and I owe my life to Mike and the Hawes family. But more importantly, you know, when I got out and I got involved with the Red Barn, I began to see a community. All of you guys, you know, and the youth coming to our facilities and speaking to us, and you allowing us to move you and supporting our cause, and coming together. You know, that's been the biggest thing for me. It's been awesome to have that support, and you know, I'm really thankful for it. And I hope what I said hits home to somebody, and I hope it can affect, you know, one of you guys here who's maybe going through something. But ask your friends, talk to your bishop, talk to your leaders, let them know. I promise you guys, if you're going through stuff, they can understand. They have a lot of wisdom. They've been there. They've been around the block, and they know what's going on. Find a good friend, someone that you can trust, and say, you know what, man, I've been thinking about this or that. And because it's all about coming together, you guys. It's all about joining together, especially in this time. You know, it's a scary time we live in. You know, I think if we can come together and support each other and help each other, I think we can all be better for it. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Thank you.
I'll go. Hi guys, I'm Tyler. So,
What's your last name, Tyler?
my name's Tyler Stanton. I'm 30. I'm from Utah County. My life's a little different. My whole family growing up, they've all used and they've done substance abuse. Lost an uncle to overdosing as well. I've used with my mom, my dad, my brother, my aunts and uncles. I've used with everybody in my family. Fortunately, I get an opportunity to be sober with my mom. She's actually chose that right path to go down that direction with me. But for me, it was a little different growing up. I'm a goofy guy. I've grown up just way goofy. I'm that guy that walks into doors. I hit my head a lot. I don't know how or why. I just do. I like to play video games. I love to read. I love psychology. Just things that people would assume, just as being a nerd, and that's who I am, and that's what I am. I love being a nerd, and I love being a goofy guy, and I wouldn't be able to say that if it wasn't for Red Barn. I've come to accept who I am and love who I am. I've been to prison. I've done 5 years in prison. Got divorced in prison. I haven't seen my son in 10 years. He turns 11 in January. I do have a beautiful little girl though. She's 3. Her name's Zariah, and Red Barn's given us an opportunity to see our kids every third week of the month, and I got to see her for the first time in a while, and it's really impactful because I've never heard my daughter tell me that she loved me. She's old enough to tell me that, and she said it to me twice so far, and it's a really, really awesome experience. It's one of the main reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. I want to be a dad to her. I want to experience everything that she's going to be going through. I want to be there for prom, scare off some boyfriends, if you were to. I want to be that dad. I want to be there to support her and love her no matter what she's going through in her life. I don't know if you guys know what the most precious thing in life is, but it's time. Because in time, that's where you build your relationships. That's where you make your family and you find your friends, and that's where you walk your journey in life. The number one thing that I've come to find out is don't be judgmental. Don't be judgmental, because you're going to miss out on opportunities from other people and learning from other people if you judge them for who they are or what they've done in their life. I was also bullied growing up in school, and never had any real friends until I've come to Red Barn, and these guys are my brothers, and I would do anything for any of these guys because they've been there for me 100%. And I've done 12 programs, as a youth,
as an adult. I can probably say about 6 years of my 30 years I've spent with my my mom and my family. I've never been home, ever, never been home. And when I was home, I used them. I took advantage of everybody I could, and I was extremely selfish and thoughtless. I didn't care about anybody but myself. Even though I told myself I loved my son, even though I told myself I wanted to be there for my ex-wife, who, by the way, I'm still best friends with. She's awesome. She's amazing. She's sober. She's out in Idaho, and she's doing really, really well in her life. I'm not that person. I'm just not that person. And I'm finding out new things about myself since I've been in Red Barn. I'm becoming more confident. This would have been really hard for me about 8 months ago. I would have said no, I'm not going, and took the community service hours. And we would get community service hours when we don't do what we're told at Red Barn, by the way. So it's a consequence that we have to do. But I come here today, though, like Nicholas, because I want one of you guys or any of you guys to take something from this. This life sucks. It really does. But the best thing out of all of it, though, was the journey. I can say I've been to prison. I mean, out of my family, I'm the only one that's graduated high school, and I'm also the only one that's been to prison as well. I have a story to tell, and the journey was well worth it. And now I'm just trying to build that foundation for myself, so I can be there for my family, for my friends, so I can be a stable foundation for my brothers when they need to lean on somebody. And this brotherhood at Red Barn, it's forever. It is forever. It is a magical place down there, and I don't know if you guys know, but it's a 2-year minimum program. And once you're done with your 2 years, you can volunteer to do a third. And I'm going to be one of those guys that volunteer to do a third year. I have prison hanging over my head. A lot of us do down there at Red Barn. I'm looking at 5 to lives, and I'm looking at some serious time. And but once my 2 years is up, I've been in the program 15 months. Been sober for 17. And once I'm done with my 2 years, I'm going to give back to the community back at Red Barn. I'm going to do something that's greater than myself, and I'm going to help them get the second bunkhouse started with the new guys that are going to be there. These experiences that I'm going through right now, these feelings that I go through, out through my whole life, I've been numb. I don't want to feel these feelings. I don't know what love is. I don't know what's like true sadness is. I just know what anger is, and I know what numbness feels like. So all these new emotions, being goofy, laughing, having fun with my brothers here, it's all new to me, and I don't know how to it's really overwhelming. Even now, standing here is overwhelming for me, and it's like I'm really my anxiety's through the roof right now. I'm just trying to hold my composure and act as if.
You're doing really well.
Well, I mean, one of our rules there is act as if until it becomes a habit. It's rule number 4, and so I've learned how to just master that for a while. But another thing too is we had an opportunity to go to Jordanelle. We went boating. Never been on an actual boat, never been on a tube or anything like that, and that's what we went and did a couple weeks ago. Was it last weekend? Yeah, it was last weekend. But yeah, it was awesome going out to Jordanelle. There's a lot of opportunities going on there, guys, but I'm gonna tell you now, the people you see around you, the guys that are here today, I don't know how close you guys are, but these are the ones you want to hold close to you. These are your real friends. These are your true family. These are the people who are really going to call you out on your bull crap if they think that you are falling short somewhere. And that's what we do at the Red Barn. So, for instance, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but so say I don't make my bed properly. I get pulled up for it, and I'll get community service hours for it, and eventually it can become a behavioral thing if it continues to happen. We're there to attack the behavior, not who you are. We're not there to attack what you can't change about yourself. We're strictly there to change everything that that brought you where you are today. And in my case, Red Barn, and going to prison, and not being there for my family. All those behaviors, we believe that behavior is the problem, not the drugs. It's the behaviors and the thinking that God is there. And but yeah, I mean, I'm honored to be able to come out here and talk to you guys. This is a first for Red Barn as well. We don't do this ever, and so it's really cool to be able to come out and do this. So thank you for letting me come out and talk. Yeah.
Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you.
Hi, y'all. My name's Richard.
Hi, Richard.
Hayes. I'm 32 years old. I'm from
Are
Utah
we
County.
supposed to say hi, Richard?
Oh no, it's okay. We do.
Hi, Richard.
We Hi, Richard.
Good to see
It's
ya.
part of our seminars.
So, I'm from Utah County originally, from Springville, Provo, Spanish Fork area. But, so I don't even really know where to begin. I was born and raised into a good LDS family. My grandparents are the loving, most caring people. I was surrounded by people that I was loved by, you know. And as I got older, I kind of just started to push away from that and started to make my own choices, to play on to what Nicholas said a little bit. It's all about choice, like I said, like he said. I chose to surround myself with people that didn't really have my best interests at heart. People that didn't really care one way or the other whether I lived or died, in a sense. I started getting in trouble as a teenager, started smoking pot and breaking curfew and doing all those things, and eventually it led to prison. I was in prison at 21. I spent too many years there. And the way the justice system works now is they warehouse you. They sit you in a cell for however long until they deem you, okay, you've done your time, you can get out. But they kick you out on parole, and you're basically supervised, and once you're on parole, you're basically going back to prison immediately. Anyway, so I did a bunch of time, and I got off in 2018, and I got a bunch of new charges. I got back into my addiction and was facing going back to prison for a long time. And I heard about the Red Barn while I was in jail, and I wrote Red Barn. I said, hey, I need help. I can't do this alone. What I've been doing is not working, and this is a chance to do something different. Like, I've done a couple treatment programs, that the whole 12-step thing, it just wasn't for me. And so, growing up, my grandpa taught me how to work hard, how to appreciate the work, how to appreciate the reward for it, you know, and I developed a really good work ethic, and Red Barn gives me that opportunity to work every day and to learn to live on life's terms, you know. I kind of want to think that time's not really, it's a state of mind. Like, if you're present and you can celebrate every moment, you're not really missing anything. And when you're worried about the next day or living in the future or living in the past, you're missing too many good things, you know. I don't have any kids. I've got 2 nephews, an 8-year-old and a 2-year-old, Bo and Colt, and they're my best friends. My little sister Jackie, I'm closest to her, my mom, but I want to be able to be involved with my own family eventually, be a husband, be a father, you know, and doing all those things. I took life for granted. I missed all those opportunities, and I'm 32 years old. I don't really have nothing to show for my life. I'm in a life skills academy because I sucked at life, you know, and I wouldn't change it for the world, though. Like, the connection and the company I keep there, people love me and support me and they want the best for me, and I have a safe place where I can rebuild and change the way I thought, change the way I view things. One of the biggest things that keeps me there is being able to be of service to others, and that's the biggest thing that I've tried to bring within myself and to implement every day. I love to make life better for other people, whether it's just with a smile or a good morning or how's your day going type thing, you know. And we have that opportunity every day at the Red Barn. And Thanksgiving and Christmas this last year, we had so many cool people in the community come and support us for our Thanksgiving dinner, our Christmas, and it's because of what we're doing down there, you know. And so I guess I started out as a mover, and I've worked my way into the office. I'm a moving clerk, but seeing that back end of it, doing all the scheduling and all the talk to the customers, it gives the guys like Nicholas and some of the other crew leads a chance to go out there and move and make a difference in other people's lives. So it's just
so that everybody understands what you're saying. They run a moving company down there,
right,
and you can tell these are lifters, but they have to have business managers, and
right,
they have to schedule things, and it's kind of unusual for people who used to go into houses and steal things to go
right,
buy drugs to be
right,
moving, but you're highly recognized as being expert and really dependable.
Well, we take pride in that. None of us smoke, none of us have cell phones, we're not taking breaks. We go and get the job done. We rarely even stop to eat lunch unless the customer says, hey, eat lunch. You know, we just go till the job's done. But like, there's a lot of work that goes into it. And without like the back end of it and the guys going to work, it wouldn't be possible. And we're like, on Google, we're a 5-star review moving company in Utah, you know, one of the few. But anyway, beyond all that, just not being able to work hard and keep a good attitude and connect and be surrounded by people that love me, none of that would be possible, you know. My goal, I'm pretty much obligated, and I'm committing to myself. I'm probably going to stay longer than 2 years. I've been doing all that other stuff for so long that it's time to do the good for much longer, you know. Anyway, so I'm trying to think. I love the Red Barn. I encourage you, if you can, when this whole COVID thing blows over or whatever, come take a tour of the place. We're currently building a new bunkhouse that's going to house 70 plus more guys. We got 44 of us down there right now. Learning to live with integrity and accountability and just being able to own your mistakes is so rewarding at the end of the day. You know, you lay down, you're like, today was a win. I got up, I made my bed, I was on time to breakfast. Today is a win already. And so live day to day by wins, you know, things that you overcome to achieve and the difference you can make in other people's lives. We like to say when A helps B, A gets better. And so that's kind of what we live down down there. I like to do things to see people succeed, and it helps me find the inner peace within myself. Anyway, I'm a complete stranger up here, and I'm hoping that what I've said, anything that we've said, has resonated with any of you. And I just encourage you to, if you're feeling some kind of way, talk to somebody. Don't hold it in. Don't just try to let somebody know how you're feeling, and always try to just be 100% honest. Be transparent. Live with integrity. But thanks for having us.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if I could say one more thing, you know, if you guys see your friends, someone that you really care about doing something wrong, don't enable that. Let them know. Say, you know what? Don't do that. Don't do that. And don't enable them. Don't let them get away. If you love someone, let them know. Say, you know what? You don't get to do that. This is what's gonna happen, you dummy. You know, and that's love. And that's, I think that's what I was missing a lot of my life, because a lot of times, you know, people, I would get a pass because I could maneuver, I had a good smile, or I could do this and that, but everybody can see it. So if you see your friends making a mistake, let them know if you care about them. Say, don't do that. That's all. Just want to say
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
What questions?
Yeah.
If there's a few minutes.
Yeah, I have to share my story a little bit too. This is actually my dad. This is where I grew up, and I've been to prison 3 times now. Been in and out of jail many times. Nick Anderson, your name is really familiar from Davis County. Done countless programs. Addiction has left me on the streets in LA many times with my dad trying to get me to come home, and I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to change. I didn't care whether I lived or died. I didn't care what anybody else thought. I've been in the system 10 years. Now most of my, probably 8 out of the 10 years been locked up. But this time now I've been out for, is it 15 months? About off parole and about done with this, and it took a lot to change me, and it wasn't until I had a reason to do something, not for myself, because I was very selfish. I did think, it was always what I could get out of the situation, you know? What can I do to get something out of this? But it wasn't until I started helping out and giving service and having a baby on the way and spending more time with the family, the activities that I never really got to, because when I was out running amok, I wasn't trying to be around my family because I was ashamed, embarrassed. It was just an uncomfortable feeling, you know. But I know the Red Barn and Rich and his son Dustin, I was close friends with, and I love those guys, and glad that you guys are in there, and they're really good people, and just wanted to kind of let you guys know my side. I'm with you. I hear you. I heard you guys back there, and I relate to every one of you in so many ways. So thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you for sharing, man.
Any questions for these guys? Do you have any questions?
This is a question. I'm wondering how Red Barn helps you transition back into the community when you're done with your time. They help you find jobs and housing and things like that?
So we're kind of coming up on the first guys that are ever going to do that.
Yeah.
And it's called your workout phase once you hit like 21 months. you have 90 days or so. I mean, you can have as long as you want, really, but to start going to work every day, start saving up some money. I know it's all on an individual plan. It's kind of, you just talk with Alan, our program director, and Mike, the executive director, but they'll kind of work with you on transition out, get you work. Mike's got a lot of connections with the therapeutic world, and so, but I mean, whatever you just decide to do, they'll support you 100%. So, but as far as that goes, we're still so new, we're barely learning out, but it's kind of you pick what you want to do, and I mean, obviously if it's good and whole heart and healthy, they'll support it, but yeah.
They still have support groups that you can come back to once you're transitioned out.
Oh yeah.
Contact.
Yeah, the Red Barn's home.
Yeah.
Red Barn's always home for us, and as long as we continue to practice integrity in our lives and continue down the right path, the Red Barn's always a safe haven for us, and we can always go there, and we have our support. We have 40 men, and then all the people who graduate, and plus, and not only that, in the community, Recovery Strong, and there's so many different. There's a FTR. There's just a lot of different, and all you folks are are here for us. I think that we have a range, a wide range of support systems out there for us. But one thing that Michael Hawes has promised us is he's promised to keep us safe as long as we do those things, as long as we practice integrity and we're honest. And we say, you know what, I made a mistake, or whatever it is, own our part. He'll be there for us, with our resumes, with whatever we need to do, schooling, and all that. So did that answer your question?
A couple of guys have already graduated, like Benny and Cade. They get to go on Spartan races. Michael takes them to Spartan races and things like that. I mean, they live in that whole workout.
Spartan races.
Yeah.
What's that?
Like endurance, like
It's like
CrossFit training,
like a CrossFit,
run up
like a
mountains,
park
do all that kind of
course.
thing. So, and they're also, we got an apartment over in Park Lane Village that they've rented out for some of the graduates. But I know they're planning on building next to McDonald's on the east side more businesses, but above that will be apartments for alumni housing, graduate housing. So we'll be able to kind of live there and transition out, or stay and give back. So that's part of the plan too.
And it's all a transition back into it, and it's a process. We earn our way, and I think that's what it is in society as well, at a job. When we're learning those lessons that you have to earn your way, and we're earning our way back into our families, and it's a slow process. At first you're blacked out, you don't talk to your family until you earn that, and if you make a mistake in that, they take your privileges from you. And we're to the point where our kids can see us now, and that's a big deal for me, and it's a big deal for my mom and dad too, because it's just a big deal, and my mom's a little nervous about it. My dad is too, but they're seeing what the Red Barn does, and ultimately our goal is to be productive members of our families and of society, and to balance those scales out. Because we've spent a lot of our life really burdening society, burdening our families, and disrespecting ourselves and who we are. We all wear a wristband right here. It says Band of Brothers, but on the other side of this wristband it says the one who stands within, and we all have that. That's right here. That's always been good. And, we may layer it with deceit and with all these bad things in life, but that's what we're doing at the Red Barn. We're peeling back those layers so we can get back to our true self, and the one who stands within. And we all have that within us, and that's always been good. So,
What is one thing that you would have done different that would have changed your trajectory to where you are today? Can you identify one thing that would have made a difference in your life?
I would have asked for help sooner.
Pardon?
I would have asked for help sooner.
Mine was simple. I would have done the things that I learned on my mission and continued down that path, and not stopped going to church. That was a big deal for me. And so when I stopped going to church, that's when life got really difficult for me.
And for me, it's kind of a hard question because I mean my whole family's done it, so I mean that was kind of okay for me in my family and how I grew up. It was okay in my lifestyle. I mean, I just can honestly say I'm grateful. I mean, for everything that I've done. I mean, not being there for my son would be my biggest thing I would have changed in my life. Being there for my son and Megan, who I love dearly even to this day. I really wish I could have been there for them, you know. But I love where I am at today, and it's because of what I've done in my life. That's where I'm at today, and so I don't regret it. I just don't. I've never had a family ever. I mean, even if I want to call my own kids my family, I mean, even then, my own behaviors, they weren't. I wasn't a family to them, and they weren't to me. And these guys are truly my family and my first one I've ever had. And I wouldn't change that for anything. I love my journey, and I love what I've gone through to get where I'm at today. And I'm a stronger person for it. And I'm just gonna keep fighting and doing that.
Any other questions?
What advice would you give to like a parent or someone that has a loved one who's making decisions that are negatively affecting your family?
Don't pretend like you don't know. You know, the consequences. You know, let them know. Cut them off. Hard love is tough for moms. I can imagine. I know how my mom was. My mom just loved me. That's all she did. That's all she knew how to do. But it began to. I took that. I was very manipulative of that, and I took that for granted, and I took advantage of her and her love, and just consequences. Cut them off. Let them know that you know, and tell someone. It doesn't matter. Let them feel that sting. Let him go through that, because if you coddle them, there's no consequences, right? They're like, okay, you're giving them permission to treat you like that. And so when you pretend like you don't know, or you say everything's going to be okay, everything's not going to be okay if they continue down that path. They're going to end up in prison or dead. And that's a reality, and it may not be that harsh at first, and it's not, but it does progress. Addiction is a progressive thing, and even bad behavior is a progressive thing toward addiction and crime. So I don't know if did that answer your question? Okay.
Also, I mean, and from what we've had some guys talk to us as well, and one of the biggest things was for them is that you can't force anybody to do anything. They're going to do what they want. And so the biggest thing, as he was saying, is cut them off. And that's where you got to find that balance of letting them know that you love them, but also cutting them off from things that, you know, because you can control that. You can control what you do, but you can't control what they do. And you just got to let them know that you're going to be there for them no matter what. Don't judge them. Don't shut them out. But I mean, definitely, yeah, cut them off. Let them go through the consequences and learn from their own mistakes. That's the biggest learning in life, is the mistakes that you make in life. So you've got to make your own to move forward.
I want to say, I'm not a parent, although I've learned some things in communicating. But one thing that's always resonated with me is first seek to understand, then to be understood. So when I say that, I mean try to get on their level and let them ask questions, let them talk. You know, kind of get off what their chest of why maybe they're acting out. At least I feel like if my grandparents or my mom would have done that for me, it would have helped. But try to put yourselves in them shoes, find out why maybe they're doing those kind of things, and then I don't know, try to connect on a different level than mom and kid, you know. Anyway.
What kind of education programs do they have for you? As far as skills, learning new skills?
Well, they have the culinary arts, and then they have welding, and we're working very closely with the DTC to open up different programs for third-year students, and that's just happening for the Red Barn. But I know they have some things in the mix, but we have a great relationship with the DTC, and I'm sure that as we continue to prove ourselves, like we did in the culinary class, we've had 2 graduating classes. We've had a class go through our welding program. and we have leadership training. We have things going like that. Plus, I get the opportunity. It's still with these guys to lead crews. They trust me with an $80,000 vehicle, and they send me. They say, okay, here's 3 guys. Go keep everybody safe and go do a job. Go do a good job. And it's tough, but what you realize when you're pressed like that is that you can do pretty hard. You can do pretty hard things. If you follow some simple principles of integrity, when you break something, just say, you know what, sir, ma'am, I broke your table. I'm sorry. We'll fix it and make it right. And that's what really proves it. It's like having a flawless move or having a flawless whatever is good, and that's what you want. But when you make a mistake and then make it right, that makes it better. And that's what I'm learning. And so when you own your mistakes, I think that's the biggest educational stuff that I've had, because I never imagined myself as a crew lead, or I'm in charge of an entire tribe. Like, I have people that count on me. I have to teach them the ways. I have to, and if they fall short, I fall short. I'm responsible for them. And so when that happens, you begin to have a different purpose, and things begin to change, because now it's not all about me.